Guys, it's strawberries and cream time at SW19. Yes, you guessed it, Wimbledon. The Wimbledon draw is here, and I cannot wait to get into it because it's an incredibly interesting draw. We're going to go through the ATP side. If you're here for the WTA side, go and check out our other video, which we'll be doing for the WTA draw preview and prediction video for the women's side. For the men's, wow, there's some massive talking points. The top half is absolutely stacked. Djokovic and Djokovic fans, you should probably be quite happy, in all honesty. I think he's got quite a good draw. Now, there might be a bit of bias because he's so good in grass, and we know how good he is on grass, but the matchups with some of the people that he could be playing, I think he's got a pretty good draw, like a very good draw, actually. Projected quarterfinals, Alcaraz versus Rune. That's a really tough one. Medvedev, Tsitsipas. I'm not sure whether Medvedev's going to get that far. Same with Tsitsipas as well. He's got a tough little section. We'll get into it, of course. We're going to be going through each and every match. Then ultimately, I'll give you guys my predicted winner. In the other two quarterfinals in the bottom half, we've got Sinner and Casper Ruud. Again, don't really see Casper Ruud making it that far. Apologies to Casper Ruud fans. And Rublev and Djokovic. Now, Djokovic, he's a massive favourite against Rublev. He has his number. Sinner could pose issues. He was 2 sets to love up against Djokovic last year in the quarterfinals, but in the end, Djokovic took over. I would be very surprised if Djokovic doesn't make it to at least the final. I don't want to say hand him his 8th Wimbledon title, but it's kind of veering towards that, in all honesty. It really is. Because Alcaraz has a really tough draw, I think. I think out of all the top players, he's got the hardest. So what we're going to do is I'm going to quickly, as a snippet, go through their routes to the title and potential opponents. And then we're going to go through and do each and every prediction for the matches that are coming up. And there are some crackers. So for Alcaraz, we're talking about he's got a tough draw. So let's go through him first. He's got Chardy in the first round, Riddick in the second. 2 French players who are very adept, you'd say, on grass. Definitely Jeremy Chardy. If he's fit and he's well, then he could be. Riddick, I think, should be a bit more straightforward. I know Riddick took a set off Alcaraz at Queens, but the first round, Alcaraz still a little bit, let's say, clay-minded in that first round. Got through it in the end. Jarry or Humbert, now those are tough ones. Jarry is a really good grass court player. We saw that he's a good all-rounder. Humbert is also a very good grass court player, very good. Dimino, who played really well in Queens, made the final. Of course, lost to Alcaraz, but he's a tough one. So Zverev, although, yes, this you could argue grass is Zverev's worst surface. With his serve, though, he should be able to have some sort of success on here. Rune or Tiafoe in the quarterfinals, both tough. Tiafoe is very good on the grass. We know Rune's capabilities generally. Medvedev will Tsitsipas semi-final. I would argue that it might not be either, and I think he'd be the favourite going into either of those. So I'm kind of almost thinking the semi-finals could be easier than some of the previous rounds, in all honesty. But then the final, of course, of Djokovic, and they put /Ruud in the one that I'm looking at, but sorry, I don't think that's going to be the case. For Djokovic, he's got Cashin in the first round, Thompson or Nakashima. Nakashima, to be fair, did take Kyrgios to 5 sets last year. He is very solid on grass, as in he has good capabilities for the grass, but he hasn't been in the best of form since winning the Next Gen final, so I'm not 100% sure on how he's going to get on. Echeverry and Wawrinka, third round, clay quarters. Musetti, Hurkacz. I mean, Hurkacz could be a difficult one. Musetti, yes, he's shown a little bit of promise at Queens, but he's still very raw on grass, and I don't think he has the game to trouble Djokovic. If it was a clay court, you could say maybe he has a chance. Grass court, I don't think so. Hurkacz potentially if he plays through out of his skin. Rublev or Felix. Rublev, yeah, I don't see him troubling him. Felix, again, hasn't been in good form. Sinner or Ruud. Sorry, don't see it as well. And Alcaraz or Medvedev. Now, if Alcaraz was to make the final and play Djokovic, that means he's probably played some very good tennis en route to the final. So if he were to make the final, Djokovic is still a massive favourite, but Alcaraz probably less of an underdog than he would have been in the start of this tournament now, because he won't be in a lot of people's eyes, he might not even be the second or third favorite given his draw. That's just how I'm looking at it. The other players, we won't go through their routes to the final because I think we could be here all day. Let's get into each and every matchup. Let's work our way through the draw. So Alcaraz, Shardy. I genuinely think that Alcaraz could lose in any round of Wimbledon, including the first round. But I'm going to go for Alcaraz. Muller and Ridderneck will go for Ridderneck. Kubler and Humbert. This is a really good matchup. I think Humbert should come through it. He's got better grass court capabilities. Jarry, Cecchinato will go Jarry. And Zverev to beat the qualifier of Brouwer. Heusler and Watanuki, who's a lucky loser. We'll go Heusler. Berrettini, Sonego. I have to say, this is the worst first round, or one of the worst first rounds that Berrettini could have asked for. He lost to Sonego recently on grass after not being anywhere near the type of form that he needs to be to compete at the top level. He lost at the Stuttgart Open. And he lost 6-1, 6-2 to Sonego. It was not even close. He didn't play Queens. He cancelled his match against Rusevori due to injury. I think he's still not right. I don't see Berrettini beating Sonego. I think Sonego wins that. And I think he wins it quite comfortably. Unless Berrettini somehow rocks up and is fully fit, which I don't think he's going to be, then I think Sonego comes through that, unfortunately. Dimona to beat Copenhagen. He's been in good form, Dimona. He's got qualifier. The qualifier will be Hungary, of course, but I think Dimona should have enough. I was quite impressed with how he played at Queens. Tiafoe and Wu Yibing. That's a potential banana skin for Tiafoe. That's a potential banana skin for Francis Tiafoe. I'm going to go for Tiafoe after making his debut in the top 10. I would not be surprised if he loses that. Wu Yibing is no joke. He's absolutely no joke whatsoever. Dominic Stricker and Popperin, we will go for... Popperin had some surprising results on the clay. We'll go for Popperin. Ivashka and Korea. Ivashka. Shimbakuru, who's a qualified versus Dimitrov. Dimitrov should come through that. Oh, Davidovich Fokina versus Fields. That could be a potential upset. Fields, though, very, very raw still. Hasn't played a huge amount of grass court tennis. That could potentially work against him. But for Davidovich Fokina, he hasn't looked his best the last couple of months. So, I don't know. Queen's Club, Fields, to be fair, Grenier and Popperin, they're pretty good wins. Pulled out of his match against Alcaraz. Would have been interesting to see him get on there. Hurkacz beat Harris. Hubert lost to Manarino. I'm actually going to go Fields. Because I'm feeling him. No pun. Well, pun was intended there. Zhang versus Van der Zandt Schulp. The Dutch player should get through that. You'd expect. Arnaldi and Carabas Bayana. I'm going to go Arnaldi, the qualifier, to get through. Lofhagen versus Rune. Now, as much as I, as a Brit, would love to see someone like Lofhagen, who's a wild card from the UK, come out and beat a top 10 player in Holger Rune, I can't see it happening. So I think Holger Rune will come through. Same with Arthur Ferry, who's a wild card. I think Medvedev's going to beat him. Manarino, Shevchenko. Manarino, for me, he's a very solid grass court player. Then we've got Marcus Giron versus Hugo Dellien. The grass might actually suit Giron a little bit. Let's go for Marcus Giron. Fucsovic versus Greixspor. Oh, wow. That's a great first round. It's got 4 or 5 sets written all over it. Fucsovic is pretty good on grass. He's to be fair, he's a solid player on all surfaces. Greixspor is a good player. He likes the grass. He won Herten-Gembosch. I'm going to go Greixspor. Not certain whatsoever, though. Cerundolo to beat Borges. Lehechka and Offner. I actually could see... I think Offner's going to win. I think Offner's going to beat Lehechka. He's got a wild card. He's got a big serve, big weapons. I think he can do it. Raonic to beat the qualifier Novak. Raonic looked quite good in his little short comeback in the last couple of weeks. He's moving quite well, which is a big positive. That's one of the biggest things you look out for. And of course, his serve is still popping, which is good. Queen's Club, he didn't play, he pulled out. Hurkacz beat Kecmanovic and then lost to Thompson in straight sets, who made the final in the end. Mochizuki versus Tommy Paul, go Tommy Paul. Cam Norrie to beat Machak. It's not an easy one, though, I'll tell you that. Not an easy one whatsoever. Eubanks versus Montero. We'll go Eubanks. He's been in good form. Very good form. Made the semi-finals of Eastbourne, and he's playing that today. O'Connell and Medvedev. Well, O'Connell. Vesely, Seb Corda. That's not an easy first round for Seb Corda. We'll go for Seb Corda. Shelton and Taro Daniil. Lucky loser. Wow. So, Taro Daniil is a little bit of a giant killer when it comes to Grand Slams, and he can be. I'm going to go for Shelton. I think his game is very suited to the grass. He should have some success. Same with Cressy to beat Ger. Peniston Murray now. This is where it's like all the Brits in the world, well, not in the world, but a lot of the Brits are probably crying watching this because Ryan Peniston is a little bit of a home favourite. But Murray, of course, 3-time Grand Slam champion. You know, he's just... he is the nation's sweetheart, you could say, in a weird way, but he is. So, look, I mean, I think Peniston could do something, but I think Murray will come through, hopefully in straight sets, whoever wins it, so they're not fatigued, because they're going to have a really tough match with their next player or their next opponent, because they're either going to play Thiem or Tsitsipas. What a matchup that is. Battle of the one-handers. Look, I would say Tsitsipas' game is better on grass than Thiem's right now, so he should win, but you just don't know with Thiem. And if Thiem is able to utilize and take advantage of the backhand to backhand, he could be in a good position. Let's see. Needs to serve well though, Thiem. Sinner and Cerundolo, that's Francis Cerundolo's younger brother, Juan Manuel. We'll go Sinner. Kecmanovic to beat Schwartzman. It's grass, unfortunately. Don't really see Schwartzman doing too much on the grass. Altmaier to beat Vukic. Halis Evans. Now, Evans hasn't been enjoying his tennis. He actually said himself that he's not enjoying playing. I actually think Quinton Hallis is going to beat Dan Evans. He's had a really good year, a career best year so far. Evans has not been playing very well. Nishioka, Galan will go Nishioka. And Otter to beat Ketfer. Otter's dangerous on grass. Massive serve. Eimer and Molkan will go Eimer. Hanfman, Fritz. Now, this has upset written all over it. Fritz's Grand Slam record generally is not very good. Of course, he made the quarterfinals against Nadal last year. Wimbledon should have beaten him. Nadal got injured. Lost in the final set tiebreaker. I think he's going to have another first round loss. Hanfman's been playing really, really well. I think he's going to win. Chorich, Peo will go Chorich. Bonzi, Mayo will go Bonzi. And Gasquet to beat Mute. RBA and Sefiullin will go RBA. Shapovalov to beat Albo. And Harris, Barrel will go Harris. Oh, Liam Brody versus Lestia will go Liam Brody. Kasparov to beat the qualifier Lokoli. Rublev to beat Purcell. Van Asch versus Karatsev. Van Asch for me. Baez and Barrios Rivera will go Baez. Now, this is a tough first round for Nick Kyrgios. Wow. He's got David Goffin in the first round. Now, Goffin is extremely comfortable on grass. It just depends on what Nick Kyrgios turns up. If it's Nick Kyrgios who is fit and ready to play, he'll win. But if it's Nick Kyrgios who's at 30-40%, he's not gonna do much. We'll go for Kyrgios for now. Bublik and McDonald will go for Bublik. He had a fantastic win in Halle recently. McDonald has also had some good results, but I think Bublik will come through that. JJ Wolf to beat Koaquad. And we've got Martera to beat Gojo. Felix to beat Krajinovic, and Musetti to beat Vareles, who's a clay quarter. Isner to beat Monar, given the surface, and Lajovic to beat Choinsky, the wild card from Britain. Hurkacz to beat Ramos Venolas, and Echeverry to beat Zapata Morelas. I'm going to go for Rusev to beat Stan. Sorry, Stan, but Wawrinka, if it was a clay court, you go for Wawrinka, but on a grass court, I think Rusev is playing better at the moment. Thompson Nakashima, that's a really good match. Thompson's been in some good form. He has. So I'm actually going to go for Thompson to beat Nakashima and Djokovic to beat Cashin. So that's all the first round matches. Second round. Then I'll predict the second round matches. Alcaraz, Ridinek, Alcaraz. Jari to beat Umber. Zverev to beat Heusler. Who do we go for here? This is a really good second round match. Sonego and Dimoner. Wow. We'll go for Dimoner. Tiafoe to beat Poprin. Dimitrov to beat Abashka. Vanadal Schultz to beat Fields. Rune to beat Arnaldi. I'm actually going to go for Manarino to beat Medvedev in the second round. I think it could definitely happen, honestly. He struggled with Manarino recently in Halle. I think he might struggle. Again, it's a massive call from me, but I don't see Medvedev doing big things on grass this year anyway. Giron, Greek Sport, we'll go Greek Sport. Sorundolo to beat Offner. And Tommy Paul to beat Raonic. I think anyone who's top 20 at the moment, Raonic is going to struggle with. Cam Norrie, Eubanks, we're going to go for Norrie in the semi-finals last year, losing to Djokovic, of course. O'Connell and Corda will go Corda. Shelton, Cressy, wow. Battle of the massive servers. I think Shelton's a bit more varied, so we'll go for Shelton. And Murray, Tsitsipas, wow, what a match that would be. What a match that would be for a second round. It really depends on how long both their matches are, because they've both got really tough matches. If they're both tight, if they're both at the same level of fatigue, then I think Murray might win. And then we've got Sinner to beat Kecmanovic, Hallis to beat Altmaier for me. I've got Nishioka Otter. We've got Otter to beat Nishioka, Hanfman to beat Eimer, and Bonzi to beat Chorich. RBA to beat Gasquet. Shapovalov to beat Lloyd Harris. Liam Brody, Kasparov could lose this, but we'll go Kasparov. I think he's got too much. Andrei Rublev, Van Ash, we'll go Rublev. Baez and Kyrgios is another tough match. His run is really, really bad, Kyrgios's. We'll go Kyrgios to beat Baez. Bublik and JJ Wolf, we'll go for Bublik. Matteo qualifier and Felix will go for Felix. Musetti and Isner. Yeah, Isner serve just way too big. Dusan Lajovic versus Hurkacz. We'll go for Hurkacz. Rusev to beat Echeverry and Djokovic to beat Thompson. Right, third round. Here we go. Alcaraz Jari. Now that's such a tough match for Alcaraz. It really is. We'll go for Alcaraz. Zverev Dimoner. That's a great matchup. I'm going to go for Dimoner actually to beat Zverev. Tiafoe Dimitrov will go Tiafoe. Holger Rune to beat Van der Schulp. Greek Sport Manarino. Sorundolo versus Tommy Paul will go for Sorundolo. Corda to beat Cam Norrie. Shelton to beat Murray, although Murray's such a good returner, but I think maybe Shelton's just a bit too fresh. You know what? Actually, we'll go Murray. Sinner to beat Hallis. Oscar to beat Hanfman. Bonzi and RBA. Shapovalov and Casper Ruud. Literally could be a 50-50. Ruud hates the grass. Doesn't move that well on it. Shapovalov is actually a lot better on the grass. So go Chapo. Rublev, Kyrgios. Wow, Kyrgios' draw just gets worse and worse. It's a shocker for a third round. This is the thing. It's very hard to know because Kyrgios, I don't know, is he going to be fit enough? Is going to be match fit to play and compete even to close of what his level is? Or is it going to just be a load of drivel, which we don't want, right? I think Kyrgios, if he's fully fit, will win. Bublik to beat Felix. We'll go John Isner to beat Hurkacz. Because next round, which is the round of 16. Alcaraz to beat Devon in a repeat of the Queen's final. Tiafoe Rune. We'll go for Tiafoe to beat Rune. Manarino Cerundolo. Corda Murray. It's a really tough one. Really tough. I'm going to go for Corda. There's a freshness. I think Murray would have been in a couple of wars already by the looks of the draw. Sinner to beat Otter. And Chapeau to lose to RBA. RBA will win that one. Then Kyrgios Bublik in the third round. That one in the round of 16. That would be an absolute blockbuster affair. It really depends on how fit both are. If it's currently, then I think Bublik will win. Isner and Djokovic. Djokovic will easily handle that. Quarterfinals. So my quarterfinals are Alcaraz, Tiafoe, Cerundolo, Korda, Sinner, RBA, Alexander, Bublik, and Novak Djokovic. Let's see what other people are saying. So we said Alcaraz, Tiafoe. They went Alcaraz, Rune, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, who've gone neither. Cerundolo, Korda, and then they've got Sinner versus Casper Ruud. Yep. Or Sinner versus RBA. And then we've got Djokovic versus Rublev. Yeah, I don't see Rublev. I see Rublev losing, to be honest, to Bublik. So Alcaraz to beat Tiafoe. It's a tough quarterfinal, but I think he'll win. Korda to beat Cerundolo. Sinner to beat RBA. Djokovic to beat Bublik. Now, Tiafoe Alcaraz is a really good matchup, but I see Alcaraz winning. Korda could go through 5 sets against Cerundolo. He needs to be fit, though, as well. If he has any type of niggle, he's not going to get this far. Sinner to beat RBA, Djokovic to beat Bublik. I think Bublik will definitely be able to cause some trouble for Djokovic, but not enough. Not enough whatsoever to beat him anyway. Semi-finals, and we've got Alcaraz Korda semi-final. So if he gets Korda, that's actually not a bad semi-final, to be honest. We're talking about people losing in early rounds like Tsitsipas and Medvedev. So this is going to be an Alcaraz Djokovic final, isn't it? Alcaraz beat Korda. You know what? Actually, no. I'm going to go left field. I'm going to go Korda to beat Alcaraz. If Korda's got this far, it probably means he's been playing some really good tennis. Alcaraz is a favourite here, but Korda could easily beat him. And then I think Djokovic to beat Sinner. Djokovic, Korda. Djokovic. We're all going to land on Djokovic, aren't we, eventually? Let's be honest. So my winner is Djokovic. Let me know in the comment section who you picked as well. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you in the next video.